Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production for Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. And this is our first interview after Labor Day. And if you saw our video that we put up on LinkedIn and Twitter, it's investing season. And we're starting off with a bang with Thor Williamson, the CEO of Ubique Minerals, trades in Canada under UBQ. For those new to the story, but you saw this unbelievable acquisition headline. Guys, if you like junior resource companies that are transitioning from exploration to production, then look no further than Ubique Minerals. So here's what you need to know about the company before this acquisition. Their Daniel Harbour zinc property in Newfoundland is a past producing zinc project. And several exploration licenses with zinc, lead, silver potential as well. Their management team has a track record of multiple discoveries of deposits worldwide. And as a result of that, they're taking that knowledge to actually look for projects around the world. The Daniel Harbour Zinc project, little detail there. I said it's a past producer, historical production, over 7.2 million tons of just under 8% zinc. Another acquisition that they made, Resource 500B Limited, they bought just under 25% of the existing shareholding of an Irish exploration company that holds 6 mineral exploration licenses and applications for 2 more licenses in Namibia. But what we're talking about today, the news is the Ubique has closed what I call a company-making transaction. It's a previously operational mine, ready to restart almost right away and ready to create revenue for shareholders. The headline, if you saw it, Ubique transitioning from mineral exploration to production to acquire 90% of a mining company in Namibia in a $20 million US acquisition. Bill, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I mean, look, you didn't waste any time. In fact, here we are just 2 days after Labor Day, and you hit the ground running. Before we got into details, give everyone at home an idea. How big is this acquisition? Just how big and meaningful is it for the company, for its shareholders, and even in the industry?
Well, it's a transitional acquisition, of course, because Ubique has been just a typical exploration company, and we've been working diligently on the Daniel Harbour project, drilling that. R500 in Namibia has been doing quite good exploration this season and a lot of groundwork. However, we've been working on this acquisition behind closed doors for about 8 months now.
Wow.
And it's been a lot of work, as you can imagine, arguing with lawyers around 2-3 continents and 5 countries. So it's been a bit of an act to get together. However, like I said, it's a completely transitional for the company. We expect to get all government approvals and exchanges approvals, shareholders approvals, and all the approvals that are necessary within the next 4 to 6 months, hopefully. And but we're not going to do nothing during that period. We'll work diligently at the project, and so we expect to get it into production within the next 6 to 12 months.
And let's talk about some numbers. First of all, the size of the resource, and then we'll talk about potential revenues, all that. But a mineral resource statement was put out in 2012, then updated in 2017. The estimated resource, I'm reading this, indicated 710,000 tons, grading 7% zinc plus lead and silver. Inferred, just under 410,000 tons, grading just under 6% zinc. And a mining inventory in the indicated category, 610,000 tons, grading 6.66% zinc, silver, some lead, and some silver there as well. How big is this thing? And how did you guys get your hands on it? Because I would have to assume there are other companies who really want to get at this as well.
Oh yeah. We originally were in competition with a few other and some of the big boys. I think in a way that the mentor and us, we hit it together, and we had the similar vision of how to get the project back on going. And to give you a little bit of the background story here, is that the project is actually built in about 2016 to 18, running up to 2019. They start their ramp up, and they were already in full production in April 2020, when they had to shut down because of COVID.
Right.
a COVID-related and pandemic-related issue. The logistic lines from South Africa towards Namibia closed, so they couldn't get supplies, and they had to stop production, and so it subsequently ended up with the company that was running it at that time went into liquidation, and the vendor that we're buying it up from now, Castle Lake, which is a $21 billion private equity fund in the US, they acquired it, but they're not guys to run a mine. We've done this before. Like I said to you before in an interview, we built an underground CIP plant in Greenland. We made greenfield discoveries. So we've been working in a very harsh environment. So we know the logistical issues and etc. So we've got a good team behind us.
So that $20 billion hedge fund, obviously they've got a great deal of confidence in you to A, select you and your team. B, is it them that's keeping the 10% because you're acquiring 90% of it? Is it them that's keeping the 10% because they're confident that you're going to be able to put it back in production, generate value for the shareholders, and that's their way of at least not taking a complete write down?
It's actually not them. It's even better because the 10% is owned 5% by the employee trust fund and 5% for the local community trust fund.
Oh, that's great.
That's 10% is fully binded with the staff and the local community, which makes it a great story.
That's even better.
Yeah. So, but however, the structure of the acquisition deal is the way that the vendor is actually taking a very deep situation with us. So we're very much aligned for this to be a success.
Let's talk about the numbers, Bill. Back in the napkin, I'm not going to pin you down to specific numbers, but once you get the approvals, exchange, and the country approvals, and get all those things signed off on, how long until you get it back up and running? And ballpark, what kind of numbers can shareholders expect for this mine to start generating?
Well, we expect to get it back on track within 6 to 12 months, and I'm very generous on the time frame. Of course, we need to get all approvals, etc. But it's mainly a logistical check for the timing of. From the day we get into production, we should be very quick with the ramp up because that's been done before, and we've got the people that did it before. So that's good, and we can say payback of the period to be a year or a year and a half, and after that we'll be generating maybe very broadly somewhere between $10 to $30 million cash per year.
Just depends on obviously the price of the commodities at that time, but it's going to be pretty healthy. But so those are fantastic numbers. I mean, that's going to be revenue or cash flow that you think you'll be generating there, Bill?
Cash flow.
Yeah, that's got to make shareholders really happy. By the way, I'm a big fan in seeing is believing, and we got some images because not very many of us get to Namibia, but let's show people what you're acquiring, especially your shareholders here. So give me a minute to bring this up. And there we go. I think it's important for people to see this, Bill. Walk us through it, because a lot of times you hear George Com acquire something and it's just a piece of dirt or very little infrastructure, and there's years of work ahead of it. What are we looking at here?
Well, the good thing here, and just like you say, you hear of companies buying previously producing mines and everything is absolutely not there. But however, the plant and the whole thing has been put on a ready to restart care and maintenance. So everything there, is operational. It's put into full circle once a month. They start everything up, they lubricate it, they paint it. The site is amicably very clean. And so it's basically what we're doing now. We're doing a little bit of adjustments to the plant, which are all issues that came up while it was ramping up for the year and a half it ran. And now we're just making it better, more efficient. And we're going to buy a new drilling rig for the underground to get more development underground. So we should be quite well established once we get it up and running.
And in case people are thinking, well, maybe this is a 4-year-old picture and maybe it looks a lot worse today than it is, here's an image of you just over a month and a half ago, right?
Yep, that's me on site a month and a half ago. We've gone through it, And like I say, this is one of the better shaped mining sites that I've gone into from all perspectives.
This looks like a lot of money was invested by the previous owners to create all of this infrastructure. Ballpark, can you give us an idea of what kind of investment was made in order to get the project to this point?
What we can see by public information, at least 40 million, but it wouldn't surprise me what's gone into the previous operations that were there in the years before this plant was built. So probably between 40 to 60 million.
Incredible. You're making the acquisition at 20 million. And it's not like you're paying it all up front either. So it's quite the deal for shareholders, especially when you factor in the potential cash flows coming out of this.
Oh yeah, we're doing a current fundraise now, and that money will all be used to get it restarted and for working capital. So we don't have to be forcing ourselves. So we're quite excited about the next steps ahead within the project.
And you're really living up to your name your name of Thor here. Are there any other junior resource projects of this magnitude in the base metals that you've seen? Because I don't see too many base metals. I see some precious metals, but not too many juniors with active base metals projects. So does this put the company up there near the top of the heap?
Well, let's hope that. I think there are some projects out there, but I think we are one of the unicorns where you get an opportunity where you take such a huge jump. A lot of companies out there, and they've been years building up their mines, as usually happens, as happened with this. Here we're fortunate, and it's maybe, but we are gaining on other people's unfortunate situation and the pandemic.
Yeah, crisis creates opportunity, and you guys were in the right place at the right time. And some may call you lucky, but we all know that hard work, some brains, you create your own luck. Let's talk a little bit. I'm going to take off the and you look great there, by the way. Let's talk a little bit about lead and zinc because there isn't a lot of talk about that amongst investors. What's the case for lead and zinc? Why do you guys like these base metals versus so many companies that are going after precious metals like gold and silver?
Well, in general terms, for example, with zinc, there is a shortage. I think the LME has a deficit of zinc concentrate in the world. Also, zinc is being used more in the battery industry. So there's a lot of companies developing alternative batteries to lithium batteries. So we are very upbeat about the zinc. And all our numbers that we're working towards are based on the zinc being $3,000. And it can sink quite low until it starts hurting us in this. And the zinc has now been in this year ranging from the 3,000 to 4,500 mark. And so we're quite beat up on the
and you have a lot of cushion there, right? This operationally speaking, is it an expensive mine to run that has, but from what you're saying, there's a lot of cushion there for the price of zinc to, if it does fall, it doesn't put you into the same problems that the previous owners had.
No, it won't. Because we are not taking their sunken cost, and the transaction agreement that we did, we're only paying, we pay 80% of the operational cash flow towards the vendor. So the harder we work, the faster we own it. And so, and what will not, there's not a lot of exploration companies there that will have a positive cash flow.
No, you're in rarefied air, Bill. And it's so great to see it happen to you and your great team. Let's talk about your shareholders. I mean, they've already seen the stock go from 4 to 20 cents since you guys stepped in, and since you stepped in as CEO and kind of took over the reins there. What are the benefits to shareholders here? You're going to be spinning off a lot of cash flow. What do you think? Do you have any general plans of what you might be doing with that cash flow? Naturally, you're probably going to try and increase the size of the resource. What should shareholders know about what your plans are?
Well, if I just take my personal view, because the board hasn't taken any discussion or or decisions about distributing the money that we haven't earned yet. But in general terms, my view as a director is that if a company can't generate more wealth with its cash, it should distribute it to its shareholders, not just do something to spend the money to try to make something that doesn't work. So if the other exploration projects, if we can't spend it on them to increase their value, we should distribute it to the shareholders.
And that's great news, Bill, because when you do see some companies that do have cash flow, a lot of times they just burn through that cash looking for something even bigger and bigger and bigger. And yes, you should try and expand your resource for sure. But, I sometimes always wonder, why burn 100% of your cash flow chasing something? Why not at least return something back to shareholders in the meantime? So for you to say that, even though we know you're not giving specifics yet, or, I think that's great as a philosophy that you've got it. And hopefully the directors and the management team will also see that. We'll all see it that way. Any other transactions on the horizon, or is this it because this is such a big one that it's you need time to really digest it and make sure it gets up and running next 6 to 12 months?
Yes, well, we think it is very important to focus on this project. We're going to do our drilling in the Daniels Harbour project next year, as we have to do by our earn-on agreement, and we're well on time on that, and everything is in good standing. But we're going to focus on getting this up and running. This will be our primary focus, and we agreed that with the vendor that we would get this on the go before we start looking at something else. But as you know, there's always deals that come through us, and we'll look at it, but we'll focus on getting this on track first.
Well, what I love about what you guys are doing is Daniels Harbour, I think it's fair to say, was the flagship, the zinc property in Newfoundland before this acquisition. That was a past producing zinc project. Now you've got another very recently past producing zinc project. So you guys are the luckiest guys in the world, or you're the smartest guys in the room, because you're actually able to land these past producers in zinc. Is that kind of going to be the mission of the company, keep trying to find past producers, or there are enough of those around that you'll have to go into the exploration side as well?
Well, we'll be focusing on this, and also what we will be doing is, of course, we'll be gaining a lot of new information and experience by the running of the Namibian project that could then enable us to better approach the Daniels Harbour project. So it's all part of the same family, if you say so. We're also now we're starting to touch on people in regards of offtake agreements and everything. So we come with a clean slate table. So we don't have any historical documents or contracts that we have to adhere to. So
Vil, fair to say that this is the strongest position Ubique has ever been in, and the road ahead only looks even more favorable given what's coming down. I mean, how happy are you to deliver this to your shareholders, and how happy should your shareholders be given what they're hearing? And I guess what I should say in there is, are there any? Not everything runs smoothly. Even Google, the biggest companies in the world, Amazon, they don't run smoothly. Are there? It's almost too good to be true. It's not, because it's all there. But anything that concerns you, or any risks other than the obvious ones that shareholders or you should know about?
Well, there will always be bumps on the road, as you say, and we're very much aware of them. We try to plan for everything that can go wrong. And as you know, Sod's law says that something will go wrong. And so we're very well prepared for everything that can happen. But we're very positive we will land this smoothly and get into production very soon.
And last word, this isn't just the Vil show. You've got an incredible team with unbelievable experience and expertise. Would this acquisition even be possible? If George and Vil were looking at, or George and a couple of smart guys were looking to make this acquisition, I'm assuming, doesn't matter how much money we had, we probably couldn't get it, because we wouldn't know, what to do here. How big of a role is the management's expertise going to play in all of this? And how much does that make your job so much easier?
That was instrumental, I think, for us to get the project was that we have a great team, and the team worked very diligently together to acquire this. We went on site, and we had technical people that had the skills and skill set to just see and understand the project. And when the mentors saw that we saw and we understood and we knew how to deal with the project and what is coming ahead, I think that was one of the key elements that we were able to acquire the project.
Yeah, because this is a behemoth, right? This is something big. This isn't a little thing that a couple of guys can kind of operate in elbow grease. It's a big deal. Last question. I know I've said that before, but on the resource side, you're going to try and expand that, obviously. How confident are you in being able to grow what's already looks like a very healthy estimated resource on the indicated inferred? How confident are you in that?
Well, I'm as confident as possible, and I must say that when our chief geologist Gerald Harbour is really excited like a little kid, and he's spent more than half a century on this geology and spent a lot of time in Africa. When he's like a little kid in a candy store, then I'm very confident.
That's great. Well, that's a great way to end that, because if he feels like a kid in the candy store, who are we to disagree with him? Bill, congratulations, man, to you and your team. This is an unbelievable acquisition. Like we said earlier, you still got some formalities to go through, shareholder approval, exchange approval, in country, a couple of, but it seems like all that, any outlier risk in all of those approvals, or are these, standard that shouldn't cause a real problem for you?
No, these are all relatively straightforward and standard procedures. I can't see a lot of problems there. The shareholders' approval, can't see anybody denying this transaction. And not only that, also worth mentioning, Ubique is very tightly held, so I can probably get the shareholders' approval with a few phone calls to get the majority of the vote.
I may put up a fight. With my shares, so you're gonna have to convince me.
Yeah. So no, I'm not concerned on that part, and I must say Namibia is a wonderful country. Everything very well established, and it's probably one of the best parts of Africa that I've been to, and I've been to a few.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll do our first ever Namibia interview sometime soon with you, because I know you're probably going to head down to the site sometime in the next couple months, Bill. And when you're there, it would be great if you got the right internet connection. It would be great to be able to do an interview from the site. But today we're celebrating your great success. As a shareholder, I think I speak on behalf of all shareholders. I say thank you, amazing, and can't wait to see what you guys are going to do next. But for today, we celebrate this, Bill, and good on you and the team, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you for having me today.
Always, Bill. Thanks for giving us our first post Labor Day interview and get us out with a bang. This is a great one. And we'll see you soon, my friend. To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, or your favorite podcast platform. To Vil Thor Williamson, he's the CEO of Ubique Minerals, trades in Canada, stock symbol UBQ. For those of you who know the story and you want to start your due diligence, get to the company's profile page on Agoracom, because there's a lot going on at the company. So we've got it really nicely laid out to you with summary highlights to understand the company's core offering. And then once you've got that foundational knowledge, head right over to the Ubique website to your deep dive due diligence. And hopefully today you discover your next amazing small cap zinc company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.